baby.
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
December 30th predictions episode, because you know what? There's nothing better than being wrong, is it, gentlemen?
No. Oh, yeah. We get to be wrong in the future.
Ooh.
How exciting is this?
I love this. And I love how militantly people remember what our picks were. And you know, it's funny because you might get one, and it's not about the failures. It's about the successes. When you get the one, you're like, I'm fucking brilliant. I'm so smart. You should listen to me.
Yes.
Yeah. So Jesse, how do you want to roll through this? Do you want to just roll through it by award?
I think you just you got the rundown in your hand.
Yeah.
You guide us through this. We'll take your hand.
Okay.
And you will walk us through this forest of predictions.
Forest of predictions. You guys ready? Mm-hmm. You got your axes ready to chop it down?
Ready to
chop
grind.
it up?
If you could be a general in any war, what general war would you general?
I'd like to be in the last part of the Napoleonic Wars when he snuck off of Elba and back, and his troops confronted him, and he said, "You wouldn't shoot your general, would you?" And they cheered, and then they all got back to, and then it was Waterloo. That's what I would do.
What's the Napoleonic War?
The Napoleonic Wars? There were many Napoleonic Wars.
Was Napoleon in them?
Yeah, he was. He was. There's the wars that happened over the French Revolution, which were the 10 years leading up to Napoleon being emperor. And there were like 8 wars of the coalitions, as they were called, because it was France versus everybody. Because all the kings around France were like, hey, we don't like that you got rid of your king and killed him. Screw you guys. We're putting his cousin back on the throne or something like that.
Whoa.
And then France was like, no, you're not. And then they fought a bunch and then changed governments a bunch of times. And then Napoleon takes over in like 1799, 1800, something like that. And then goes, don't worry, guys, there will be peace. And then proceeds to conquer all of Europe.
Wow.
Over the next 15 years. So yes, there were a ton of different, it's all how historians categorize them, but it was almost constant war for 25 years in Europe. Yeah.
So which one of those do you want?
The last one where he's a little bit less dangerous, doesn't have the cavalry to take it really at Waterloo, and makes a mistake and sends one of his generals off to fight some silly battle when he should have just kept the whole army together,
right, and
tried to reclaim the emperor or the empire, the French Empire.
You want to general that one?
Yeah, I want to be on the British repression side on that side.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, that's right. Fight with the redcoats, man.
Yeah.
Against oppression and tyranny.
That's cool. We should make that happen for you.
Well, listen, there is nothing, once you get into it, in history that's more fascinating to me than the French Revolution. It's the most important, unbelievable event of
Wasn't there
the last 300 years.
A Napoleon movie that came out?
There was.
Recently?
There was.
Was it good or bad?
It was... It wasn't
with
great.
Joaquin Phoenix?
It wasn't great. Yeah, it wasn't great. It was.
Is that who was Napoleon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix was
Yeah.
Napoleon?
You didn't see that weird scene where he dances on the stairs?
No.
People were upset they used that song.
Oh, the Joker?
Yeah. No. No.
The Joker.
That wasn't it.
Okay.
It was good. You know what was really good about that movie?
It was that movie
That was a folly.
Where Napoleon has a bunch of prisoners of war, and he does the thumbs down.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, how was the Napoleon movie with Joaquin Phoenix?
Incoherent.
Oh.
I think it would have been here's what I think it's Ridley Scott that did it. What he nailed was the battle scenes. They were absolutely period accurate.
Crush.
Everything was great. What he didn't nail was all of the storyline, and some of it was a little bit fudged. And he's like, when they asked him about it, he's like, well, it's not that big of a deal. And it's like, it's kind of an important thing. And there was a couple things that were made up, but the idea was not that you got a accurate historical representation of Napoleon, but more you got a sense of the person. There has been nobody, I think outside of Jesus Christ, I think in the English-speaking world.
Pardon?
No. Where
are we going?
Listen to this.
All right. No, I'm listening.
Outside of Jesus in the English-speaking world, there has been no person who has been written about more.
Adam.
That is an actual fact.
That's not true.
For the
That is
class.
true.
That's not true.
Historically, what?
For the class, who's Jesus? For the listeners.
Adam
It depends on your persuasion,
has
my
never heard of LeBron James.
That's right. Or Connor McDavid.
No, LeBron.
LeBron?
Let's get it
okay.
right.
Well, anyway, let's get into this. Predictions
Maddie, you had something to say about Napoleon.
for the NHL. Yes, Maddie.
Have you guys ever seen that movie of Napoleon dancing in a gym?
He also did that.
What?
He also did that. And he
Steve
voted
gets it.
He voted for Pedro. I get it.
Oh.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Hey, yo. All right.
Welcome to fatherhood, Maddie.
bad.
Welcome to fatherhood. That was
Oh,
excellent.
boo.
All right, let's-
Maddie
no.
Mike off.
All right, I'll shut up.
Now,
No.
we're about 32 games in the season, so this is way too early, but let's give me your way too early Hart Trophy winner, MVP to his team. Let's start big.
Well, so this is the thing, right? MVP to his team. There are players who I think are, year in and year out better. There are players who are this year better than this player.
Okay.
But no one is more valuable to their team. No one, not one. Leon Draisaitl's putting up MVP numbers. He's great. I disagree. Nathan McKinnon, MVP numbers. He's great. I disagree. It's Kirill Kaprizov. To me, he's the clear front runner. He has 18 at the time we're recording this episode. He has 18 more points than his next closest teammate. He has 47 points on a team with two other guys above 20 points. He lost his Robin, who was Matt Zuccarello, who was scoring still only at roughly a point a game for a period of time. His line mates completely changed, and his production was fine. Kirill Kaprizov, to me, is the MVP of the NHL.
I don't have anything to add to that. That was also my choice. I think he's phenomenal. I was going to throw down Jack Eichel's name for Sabres fans, just for fun, but it's hard to disagree with Kaprizov.
You didn't have any former Penguins you could have gone?
No, I can't. Jesse, what about you?
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty boring segment. I also had Kirill Kaprizov.
I really thought this was going to be a hot take. That's
What? How? I think he's clear the best player to his team right now. What Minnesota's doing, I don't think anybody really expected them to be this at this point in the season, this high in the standings amongst the top 1, 2, or 3 teams in the league. And the way they're dominating in goal and offensively, the offensive part starts and ends with Kirill Kaprizov, and there isn't really like anybody there next to him on this team that can say they're doing as much as him. So that is the nature of the award. That is what is intended for players like this, having this kind of season on outstanding teams. So I think Kaprizov's got to be front runner right now for the Hart Trophy, and I think he keeps it up, and he wins it by the end of the season.
Next one, I'm going to go Norris Trophy, gentlemen.
Norris Trophy. Very, very tight race. Again, Zach Werenski has found his way into this conversation. Shockingly to me, first defenseman to hit double-digit goals. At the time we're recording this, leading defenseman in scoring points is actually Cale Makar. But how your team performs matters in all this, and out of the 3, this guy's team is far and away the best. This is Quinn Hughes' year.
Oh.
Quinn Hughes' year. He's the captain of the Canucks. They've faced ridiculous adversity even before Christmas. They didn't have their starting goalie basically the whole time. They just threw it together with Kevin Lankinen, who was magically incredible. They didn't have JT Miller for a huge chunk of it. They essentially didn't have Elias Pettersson. He was in the lineup. He just wasn't very good. Quinn Hughes is running the show in Vancouver, and he's why they're one of the best teams in the NHL.
Wow.
Yep.
I like that. I like that.
Bad?
No, I'm still struggling with that. I'm still struggling with the everything bagel I had this morning, but it had a poppy seed in it.
Well,
okay, Jesse, what's yours?
I also had Quinn Hughes. Steve says it's Quinn Hughes' year. It was also his year last year. If you forget, he is the reigning Norris Trophy winner.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So to phrase it like that was a little odd. I think he hasn't relinquished that post as the best defenseman in the league right now. And the way you outlined it with Vancouver, like that's the main point of emphasis here is that he's been the one stable part of this very good team. Everything around him seems to be chaos and floundering. And they're talking about trading Pettersson, and JT Miller needs his leave, and the goalie situation just kind of stabilized with Demko coming back. And Quinn Hughes has been there this entire time, keeping everything afloat, keeping this team great defensively. And I think he deserves to be rewarded for that again. And last season...
No. It's his year.
No, now it's his year. And then this year, Makar's ahead of him in points. And I believe last year he didn't finish first in points either from a defenseman. And once again, I don't think that needs to be the bar that we set the Norris Trophy from. Erik Karlsson, because Adam's going to love this. Erik Karlsson, when he won the Norris Trophy, probably didn't really deserve it that year because defensively he was a disaster. But that 100 points round number is what swayed the voters. And this year, I don't think you can look just at the points. Quinn Hughes, even though he's back in the points race, deserves the Norris Trophy.
Well, I mentioned Demko being out of the lineup, Miller being out of the lineup. How about the dude who was acquired to be Quinn Hughes' defense partner?
Yes.
And Philip Hronek. Like, the fact that he's still doing this is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going with Cale Makar. And I go
not a bad choice.
I
man.
go with Cale Makar because when the Colorado Avalanche had like 9 guys injured.
And just to correct myself, Quinn Hughes did lead defenseman in points last year, had 92. Cale Makar had 90.
Well, there you go.
Right there, a little 2-point difference.
I'm just looking at my fantasy team right now, which Cale Makar was my first pick. And this guy has 38 points in 33 games as of this recording. And so you look at that kind of point production from a guy who lost just about all the finishers in his lineup, and they were already sort of limited. You have guys on long-term injuries. I'm thinking of guys like Drouin, who still isn't back.
Yep.
And they were able to survive bad goaltending, tons of injuries, and Mikko Rantanen and Nathan MacKinnon basically saved their season. If they're going to have a season, it's because of those 3 guys.
No Landeskog.
Yeah.
I feel like that matters. Someone posted something today that Landeskog's been out so long that he was never actually a teammate with Alexander Georgiev.
That's nuts.
That's insane.
It's a crazy stat.
Insane. I had no idea it'd been that long.
Does it ruin your argument that Quinn Hughes right now, as of this recording, is on a better points per game scale than Cale Makar,
I still think
who's played 3 more games?
I think Cale Makar has his team's gone through more adversity and he's handled it better because there are some adverse times here in Vancouver. And not that Quinn's a problem. He's not. But he's actually the solution to the problem.
The Canucks' problem was they didn't have their starting goalie. The Avalanche's problem is they didn't have any goalie.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that there's a little bit of tensity in the Vancouver dressing room, a little bit of drama. But like they'll figure that out. I love Quinn Hughes. If he wins, great for him.
Doesn't sound like it.
Cale Makar is my pick.
Yeah, you're a piece of crap.
Sounds like you hate that, man.
Hate him. All right. Here's an interesting one. Jack Adams.
Really struggled with this one. To me, there's 3. There's a bunch of teams that didn't make the playoffs last year that are some of the best teams in the league.
Yep.
And usually I would defer to those coaches. For me, I'm going to go with the guy whose team made the playoffs last year and they're elite this year. Spencer Carberry.
Great.
The Washington Capitals are fantastic. They're improved in basically every regard. And they dialed back the clock with Ovechkin, lost him, and didn't even break stride. Like, this is one of the best teams in the NHL, and they have not changed a whole hell of a lot. They did some things on defense that definitely helped for sure. Like Logan Thompson was their big swing in net. I think Carberry is doing something that a lot of coaches struggle with, and that is icing the best team possible game in and game out, and also developing young players on the fly. So for me, it's Spencer Carberry.
Same thing for every reason that Steve mentioned. And I say Spencer Carberry because the Washington Capitals are playing a game I've never seen them play before, which is
hockey.
We're going to fight for every puck all the time till it gets annoying. That's the weirdest thing about the Capitals, right? Is like they used to be a little bit more free flow, defer to Ovechkin. They had their stars, Kuznetsov, Backstrom, all those guys. John Carlson, who's still there. And who was the guy before it? Green? Well, who was the guy that scored 30 goals for them?
Mike Green?
Mike Green, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not that anymore, and they've been able to take some risks. Like the Pierre-Luc Dubois deal, Spencer Carberry deserves to a ton of credit for the way Pierre-Luc Dubois has played this season. Not that Pierre-Luc
21 points in 30 games.
That is a salvageable contract.
Yep.
And a salvageable player, and he's got a role, right? They're not, flipping him to the fourth line because it's like you need to be better. The way that he was handled in LA. And listen, some of it's on him, but I think you need to have a coach who sets your mind right and gets you back to where you were. And I think that's what that organization with Spencer Carberry has done. I give him the Jack Adams in a wash. Not even close.
Dubois only got 4 goals, but 17 assists. Like, he doesn't need to carry the goal scoring burden for Washington.
No.
Strome, McMichael, Protas, Ovechkin, even though he's injured, and Wilson all have double-digit goal totals. And Chychrun, maybe by the time this is released, will have 10.
Wow.
Which is, maybe he should be in like the outer Norris conversation, because that's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's
Jesse.
crazy.
For me, the way this award works is there's a team that was further down in the standings last season than the Washington Capitals, and they are further up in the standings this year than the Washington Capitals. They didn't make the playoffs last year and only finished with 87 points. And on November 27th, 2023, the world changed, because that was the day Creed Bratton was let go of his job.
Oh,
Dean Evison was fired, and the Minnesota Wild brought in John Hines. And from there, they struggled all season long. They missed the playoffs, as I said, and with only 87 points, the Capitals made it. So I don't know how you can give Spencer Carberry the Jack Adams. And this season, they, to me, are the best team in the league, and I think they're going to finish at the top of the league. And that right there, that going from that position in the standings to the next one with essentially the same core of players, to me, is the definition of the Jack Adams. He's coached them to this next level with elite play from Faceoff and their goaltending.
Can I give an honorable mention? Because I'm surprised none of us mentioned this person, but I thought about it. Sheldon Keefe.
Yes.
He
was my pick preseason to win the Jack Adams.
The Devils stunk, made a bunch of additions, yes, and now they don't stink.
It's great.
That's often how this award works.
I feel like he was going to be my second choice, but I feel like John Hines has less to work with from this offseason than Sheldon Keefe, who got everything from the Tom Fitzgerald to make this team good, this offseason. And John Hines didn't get as much.
Yeah.
People were like, oh, yeah, the Devils are going to be good now. I didn't really hear a ton of that with the Wild.
Right. Nobody said that. And look where they are. So that's my pick for the Jack.
I wonder where I put the Wild, because I've always liked their system, but I wonder where I put them in the season previews. I can't even remember.
They've been so milquetoast.
Yeah, they
for
have.
like a decade.
In the conversation-ish.
Yeah. They'll make the playoffs, I think. Yeah. All right. Vezina Trophy. Jesse, I want to start with you.
I got a theme here. What? What's wrong?
No, nothing. I just thought that was a great choice by Adam.
I just wonder what Jesse's going to
I got a theme here. Philip Gustafson.
Okay.
I don't know if you're following along, but the way he's played with Marc-Andre Fleury, who is in his elder years, Gustafson has to take the reins there. Fleury can't start all of these games. So Gustafson, I think, is going to backstop the best team in the league to very high up in the standings. And what he's doing with this team in front of him, who we've all admit isn't the most impressive roster.
No.
Yep.
I think he's currently third in the league amongst goalies who have started at least 5 starts. In save percentage, I think you reward that player because he's not a fraud like Connor Hellebuck.
Oh, Steve, who's yours?
Eventually going to fall down the save percentage list.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I disagree. I am going to go with, what's his name? Connor Hellebuck.
Oh, that guy who's going to finish with a 919 save percentage?
Oh, yeah, because it's got to be under 920, right?
Oh, Jesse, I tell you what, he better play every game for the rest of the season and be ass while he's doing it. Because he is currently 19-5-1. He has fewer losses than his backup goalie has games played. Which is stupid. He's a 926, which is notably above 920.
7 points to falter for the rest of the year. It's going to happen.
The Jets are trending down in general
Because of strictly goaltending.
but he is the reason I think that trend will stop. He was a 921 the year before, 920 the year before that, and before that, it doesn't matter.
It might be Jesse's toughest take.
No,
It might be his toughest take.
Hey, it's not over yet.
Jesse,
I know they call games at the second intermission. They say, "Oh, no, it scores 3-2 at the end of the second intermission. Let's call the game."
He's gonna finish with a 9-19, and Jesse's gonna lose.
He's gonna have a party.
Oh
He's
my
gonna fire
God.
off confetti in here again.
Or I'm going to throw a live show. The 9-19 Hellebuck's a fraud party.
The Hellebuck is over party.
Hellebuck could win the Vezina, and Jesse could still win his bet.
Yeah.
That's the whole
actually
point.
Crazy.
I'm gonna say Connor Hellebuck as well. We've matched up a lot.
Yeah.
Connor Hellebuck because A, he's my favorite goaltender in the NHL. B, because he's awesome. C, because the Winnipeg Jets. He is there. Listen, if somebody is gonna win a Hart Trophy that isn't a forward, it's going to be Connor Hellebuck, and it should have been several times. And the Winnipeg Jets got out to an almost historic start this year. Not quite. The Leafs are still better. But I think it's pretty important to, this team was like 18-1-1 for a while there or whatever it was, right? Like they have a crazy record. I think Connor Hellebuck's play has been amazing. The fact that they got him at $7.5 million is amazing. Here's a guy that wants to stay in Winnipeg, wants to build something. They had ticket selling issues. They're bringing the people back. Like, man, got Vezina Trophy, please, Connor Hellebuck, you deserve it. And remember, the Vezina is always like a reputational award too, because it's voted on by the GMs. And so you could have a goalie that does like a crazy job, but if they don't do it for 2 or 3 years, then they don't win the Vezina. Nobody has like the reason I didn't go with Philip Gustafson is because Philip Gustafson, he's been good, but this is his first year at the top. And NHL GMs don't watch other teams. They just don't.
They straight up don't.
And so they'll go with the guy that I know and I remember seeing him.
Who has the best record? That one.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. I don't know how seriously they take it to be sometimes.
While we're here with who votes on trophies, I still don't understand why broadcasters vote on the Jack Adams, the award we just talked about.
I don't know.
Like
I think you got to involve them in something.
Do you?
The broadcasters don't. Maybe the journalists, broadcasters. I think maybe it was like they threw the journalists something, so they threw the TV and radio people something. The newspaper people got something.
It's a little odd.
I think they just want everybody to participate, but I agree.
I just don't know if they're the experts on who the best coach is. Like why the guys in the booth.
The thing is that it's either that. Like, it's either we do it this way with these awards, or it's some shadowy political committee like the Grammys, where Robert.
No, you
Plant,
mean the Hockey Hall of Fame?
Robert Plant and Alison Krauss win album of the year when it should have gone to like 50 Cent or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that's a thing that happened.
Oh.
That was like some weird country album nobody listened to, and so. As much as I agree it's imperfect, I'll take this one. Thank you very much, if that makes sense. Right? And there's very little campaigning that goes on, right? Like behind the scenes in some of these award shows, Oscar committee, Grammy committee, they all have like, there's like presentations given to them. They're giving gifts. They're given, I don't want any of that.
The NHL has like award courting. Like you never get to the end of the year and you're like, oh, I didn't think that guy was getting nominated. Like there's campaigning that starts, and it starts very early.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, like if you spring Zach Werenski on us in April or like in June rather, we're all gonna freak out. But so you got to give people some runway and be like, Zach Werenski's having a great season, and you go, what?
No way.
And you look into it and you're like, oh gosh darn it, he is. Like you can't just spring that on people,
right?
Kirill Kaprizov is better than Leon Draisaitl. What? You can't just spring that on people, and then you got to look into it, and
maybe he is.
I just think if you are designating the Professional Hockey Writers Association to vote on the most prestigious awards, like the Conn Smythe and the Hart Trophy, why not just give them the Jack Adams too? Why not give them the Vezina too? If they're in charge of the most important awards, why not these other awards as well? That's my opinion.
It's a good question. He makes a good point. So, big story. And the big story is this. I don't know if you've checked the future section of BetMGM. BetMGM.com/Dangle. Check it out. I love these because it really encourages your patriotic side.
Okay.
Stanley Cup, this is a future bet. Stanley Cup, nation of winning team. So meaning, is it Canada or the United States? And I'll give you the odds here because USA is a 1.3. And Canada's a 3.5, like 3.5 times. So I I think there's like 2 Canadian teams that might win it this year.
Who you got?
Edmonton and Toronto.
What about Vancouver?
Vancouver, are you putting Vancouver in there?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now, because it's always
conversation?
Canada hasn't had a Stanley Cup since 1993.
Yeah.
I feel like those odds even could be higher because it's just
You're banking on 3 teams.
We're both being extremely disrespectful to the Jets. Well,
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure higher in the standings than any of them.
boo hiss. Anyway,
Yeah, they haven't been the greatest recently, but yeah, they're still.
so do you
there.
say Canada or United States? 4 possible Canadian teams who could win it, at least make the playoffs. What do you think?
For me, that's a sprinkle.
That's a sprinkle.
That's I sprinkle.
So what do you pick?
Canada.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
You're taking the Canadian over the U.S. winning the cup this year.
yeah.
Because the U.S. is like a guaranteed money every time you bet them.
Well, I mean, they're pretty much guaranteed to have a team in the final. Like, listen, yeah, the better bet is the States, but it's also by far the less fun one.
Okay.
Which do you think is going to happen?
The States.
Then bet the
What are you
States.
talking about?
Jesse, what do you think?
Sprinkling on
Stop
Canada.
lying through your teeth. I'm picking. I'm picking.
No, I'm betting against my feelings.
I'm picking Canada because I genuinely think Edmonton, Winnipeg, Toronto, or Vancouver has a real good shot at winning the cup this year, and I think one of them is going to do it.
Okay, well,
Edmonton was my cup pick before the season began.
will the Stanley Cup come from the East or the West? Currently, the East odds are slightly better at 1.87, although the West is at 1.95.
The East odds are better.
They are, weirdly.
No, I'm going West.
Yeah?
I'm going West. Yeah.
Jesse, West, East?
East, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay. Stanley Cup winner, original 6 or not? Yes is a 5.25. No is a 1.17.
So you're getting Boston,
Or Toronto.
Toronto, and then because
Maybe the Rangers.
Chicago's out, Rangers,
Detroit?
Detroit, nah, like it's not great. Montreal,
No. That's a no.
No with both feet.
All right, last one. And these odds are relatively even, although I think you'll find them interesting. Which division will the Stanley Cup winning team come from? Atlantic is 3.75, Metro and Central at 3.4, and Pacific at 4.2.
How on earth? Wait, did you say Pacific?
Yes. That would be... Who do they include, Steve?
The Oilers and Golden Knights. And Canucks.
Yes.
Oh
yeah,
my
and
God.
Kings too. who have
And the
this year.
King. Oh, dude. Yeah, Pacific. Give me that. Give me
Okay.
that all day.
Yeah, those are weird odds because every division kind of has 4 teams that you could be like, oh yeah, I could see that. So I'd take the Pacific just because they got good odds on that.
It could
Agreed.
be anyone. Yeah, I understand that.
Okay, so here's what it is. Check out the futures section right now. BetMGM.com/dangle. And hey, listen, BetMGM, official sports betting partner of the NHL in Canada. That's your big story. All right, now moving on to I think one of the more exciting ones, the Calder Rookie of the Year. What do we think, guys?
Well, who do you want to start with?
Jess or Steve, do you want me to start with? Do you want?
Well,
me to-
I could do it.
Yeah, I think he wants to.
Well,
I think he asked because
I think
he wants
he's
to go
dying
first.
to start.
I just
Who are we going to start with? Is it me?
no. I just gotta. Well, since you asked, I just gotta know if you guys want the popular pick
Yeah.
or if you guys want the truth,
Oh God.
because Sharks truthers rise up. Macklin Celebrini.
We matched again.
It is. I can't believe that.
Yeah,
by the
it's
way.
hilarious.
It is Macklin's year. Matvey Michkov. He's doing the fancy plays.
The Michigans.
The Michigans. Macklin is doing the Mackligans, having more goals per game. He's also doing the Mackle points. He offers Mackle more. But he has more points per game than Michkov. He's tied for second in rookie scoring despite missing time to start the season.
8 less games than Michkov.
8 fewer, learn words, 8 fewer games.
Is that such an egregious grammatical error?
Sorry, it's a tendency as an author. Best selling. Sorry, best selling twice. 8 fewer games than Matvey Frodkov, and I think the Sharks will have the truth etched on the Calder Trophy this
Yeah,
year.
I also have Celebrini.
What?
I think it's an easy pick here. He's unbelievable for the time that he's played. Like I said, 8 less games, and you could look into some of Michkov's numbers if you really want to go to the fraud watch. 12 power play points.
Well, they don't count.
You know, are you feasting on the power play? You know, the Kucherov didn't get the Hart Trophy because everyone said he's a power play merchant. So if we're taking away awards
Also,
for that
he didn't
reason,
deserve it. But
no, don't go to that argument. No, I think what Macklin's doing is so impressive in his rookie season. He's going to end up with like 25 goals if he keeps this pace up. And as a rookie, I think he's just been more impressive on a lesser Sharks team than what the Flyers got. So yeah, I'm going to Celebrini.
what those guys said, I'm Macklin, and I also like the fact that he throws some punches too.
Yeah.
The guy doesn't give. He's, as CJ keeps saying, the guy is box office.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't say who's more fun.
No. Macklin's more fun.
Well,
That kid is going to sell tickets on away games. They're going to be Sharks fans that are like following the team around.
Oh yeah.
you know what he's more?
What?
Truthful.
Stop.
More minutes too in a more important role on a team. I get they're worse, but he's playing heavier minutes than Michkov. I think he gets the edge.
Yeah. And it's funny to say anybody's worse than the Flyers, but the Flyers are actually pretty good this year.
They might make
make the
playoffs.
They might almost
I don't know
make the
about
playoffs
that.
again.
I don't know about all.
Yeah. Okay. And then so the next one, guys, is we're going to go to division champs. All right. Let's start in the Western Conference here. Who do you think has the Pacific? The Pacific features teams, if you don't know, like the Knights, the Kings, the Oilers, the Canucks, the Flames, the Kraken, the Sharks, and the Ducks. The LA Kings have surprised a lot of people this year. The Oilers have surprised a lot of people with how they've been lately. Division's pretty tight. Who do we give it to?
I actually hate how tight the Pacific Division is because later down the line we're going to talk Cup, and it just makes that decision so frustrating. But the hockey's going to be unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
To me, the team that wins the Pacific Division is the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, you got to be hot. You're going to be cold. You just hope that you're hotter more than you're cold. Mm-hmm. The Oilers are hot right now. When do you make your move? Like in any race, like any distance race, they go, okay, here's where I pull ahead.
Right.
How do you pull ahead of the Vegas Golden Knights?
Because they just keep winning.
I just, unless they have some slump in them that they've shown zero sign of, no one's passing them.
Jesse Blake.
The Vegas Golden Knights are an interesting team because I don't know if you're aware of their goaltending, Steven.
I am well, believe me, this was my big hesitation.
Aiden Hill right now, they're starting. I won't even start there. Let's start with Ilya Samsonov.
Let's
because we all
go.
know Ilya Samsonov's numbers.
Who started well.
He's 7-3-1 on the year, 11 starts. Save percentage, .897.
Which is insane because I want to say through his first 5 games, he was like a .920.
Aiden Hill, their starting goaltender, 20 starts, 13-5-2.
Very, very good.
An .899 save percentage.
Whoa.
Just about league average.
Below 900.
It's below 900.
Both of their goaltenders, they're getting awful goaltending. And despite that, they are currently first in the division. And that is why they are going to finish first in this division. They are a full team that is able to play in front of awful goaltending. And they've proven that consistently over the years that no matter what type of goaltending they get, they can win games. And this year, more than any other. So I think the Vegas Golden Knights have proven that they can do this. And who cares what kind of goaltending they get? And then if everything regresses to the mean in terms of their goaltending and it's above a 900, think about how much better they will be at that point. So I'm picking Vegas.
I am going to be the third guy to pick Vegas. I'll tell you why.
Really?
And mine's a little bit different. I'm looking at the home and away splits, and the Oilers have a really positive home and away split. Vancouver their aways, they're 10-2-1 away. They're sub 500 at home by 2 games as of this recording.
Every year there's
actually
one team
by
that does
5
that.
games they're sub 500 at home.
I don't get it.
Vegas is good at home, 11-3, and they're good away, 9-5-3. This is a team that is consistent. They continually do this. And here's the problem. And this is what we ran into in the Atlantic Division for a while with Boston and Tampa. Once these teams figure it out and they're all sort of entering their prime together or in their prime together. They just know how to do it. They just know how to win. The Lightning at the beginning of this decade, coming out of the pandemic, just knew how to win regular season Atlantic Division titles. The Boston Bruins the last couple of years, they just kind of knew this is how we're going to do it. We had a slight little, nope, sorry, we're back. And they're doing it again, by the way, in the Atlantic. We can go back to that. But the Vegas Golden Knights know how to do this. I'm really impressed. Their LA is way better than I thought. I think Vancouver will turn it around. I know that they've been very good, but they had some injuries. Lankinen is now out. Hronik is out. You got Demko back. So there's been a little uncertainty, and apparently JT Miller and Elias Pettersson aren't getting along. Whatever, they'll figure that out. The Oilers' start, I think, puts them behind. Yes. I don't think they can catch Vegas if Vegas just continues to be solid as a rock, which they always are. So let's move on to the Central Division, featuring teams like, and not everybody knows the division alignment, which is why I'm going to give you all the teams. The Jets, the Wild, the Stars, the Avalanche, Utah HC, Blues, Blackhawks, and Preds. I just want to let you know that I believe I picked the Nashville Predators to win the division, and they are in last place in it. So,
do you need a towel? You got some egg on your face.
It's a bad pick. It's a bad pick. So, at this point in the season, who do you have to win the division, gentlemen?
This is Wild because they are not the Wild and also not the Jets either. I have the Dallas Stars.
Oh, they've had a bit of a rocky start.
Yeah.
Robertson's a little underperforming and not getting the thing.
They have, I would categorize the Stars as a team that is good year in and year out that has room to grow. Right? Sort of like Tampa in recent years, like we've talked about. They hit their stride as the season goes. I expect the Stars to get better as the season goes. They have ground they need to make up. The Jets are trending down. The Wild are so wildly good that I wonder if they can keep it up. Like, I still expect them to be very good and make the playoffs and be competitive and all that. But even if they trend downward a bit, again, how do you make your move? If the Stars make a move, I could see them passing both those teams and win the division.
Jesse Blake.
This is an easy one for me. As you can see, I have a theme throughout this episode is the Minnesota Wild are going to be very good. I think they win this division. They overtake the fraud Jets very easily come the middle of the season, and they don't look back because of great goaltending, because of great coaching, because of Kirill Kaprizov. The Minnesota Wild win the Central.
For all those reasons and more, I will take. I will agree with Jesse. I think that the away.
I wanted to get one where we had three different answers.
The Minnesota Wild, especially their away record, 12-2-3. Outrageous. And they don't have the goal differential, the goofy goal differential that the Jets do, which is like plus 36. But they've got a sustainable one. And their points percentage as of this recording is actually higher than Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. This team is solid all the way through. They're going to survive the injury to Jacob Middleton, and then he's going to come back and he's going to be great. Mm-hmm. I'm curious for the Wild what they want to do at the trade deadline, because I think the Jets are going to be very aggressive. And I'm curious as to what the Wild are going to do in response. In fact, you could say that the Stars and Avalanche, too, will be extremely aggressive. But it's going to be a dogfight between the two of them. I just give the edge to the Wild because I do think they are a more solid team all the way through. Even without that crazy Winnipeg start that they had, the Wild are within a point of them as of this recording, which is kind of nuts.
Hot damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, next one. We are going to do the Metropolitan, formerly known as the Midtropolitan, not anymore, featuring teams like the Capitals, the Devils, the Hurricanes, the Flyers, the Rangers, the Penguins, the Islanders, and Les Blue Jackets.
It's the have and have not-topolitan.
It is. It sure is. This is the for richer or for poorer. And let me ask you guys, who do you think wins this division? Currently, the Capitals are in first as of this recording.
I'm going to stick with the Capitals because they've shown no sign of slowing down. 12-3 on the road. They're pretty good at home as well, 9-4-2, but that road record is absurd. At the time we're recording this episode, they are, I believe, the hottest team in the NHL at 8-1-1. They are tied for the highest goal differential in the NHL at plus 36. And they've played fewer games than all the teams in the Metro around them. They can weather injury storms. They have 2 good goalies. They have a real solid D-core. Why wouldn't I say the Caps?
Jesse Blake.
My pick is the
Jesse's
Caps.
going to go with the Wild.
My pick is the Caps, but I want to give some love to the Devils. I just think the Caps are a little deeper at this point, and seeing some of the Devils games, I don't think they can be as consistent throughout the rest of the season as the Capitals have shown that they can. But I think the Devils will make it really close to the top of the division and then just kind of fall a couple points short. But just for everything Steve said, I trust the goaltending a little bit more. The defense looks spectacular. Jacob Chychrun has been an unbelievable, having an unbelievable season.
Isn't it crazy when you leave Ottawa? What happens?
He's one of the best.
know?
Ottawa and Arizona. He's one of the best off-season acquisitions this summer. Who's better? Who's a better summer acquisition?
And for the price they paid was just like not much.
Something Dubas did. Definitely.
I,
So I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Penguins win the division. So there you go.
I'm going with. I want to go. I'm going to go Capitals, and really the points percentage difference is almost 80 points percentage, or sorry, 0.80 percentage points at this time. So I'm gonna just go with the safe bet, the Washington Capitals. I do want to shout out the Carolina Hurricanes, who really did have a loss of talent this offseason. And one of the things we talked about in the previews were like, who plays for them? And you look at the emergence of a guy like Marty Nietzsche, you look at other guys that have stepped up. I want to shout out their system. But again, when it comes to the Washington Capitals, they are such a pain in the ass to play against. Teams are going to be like, oh, this is, you know how you have bad days at work? The Washington Capitals are a bad day at work. They're not a fun team to play against. This is not going to be something that you enjoy. And I think Spencer Carberry is just spectacular, as I said earlier in this episode. I just think he's a fantastic coach. And Washington Capitals all the way. They've got the right veteran talent. And when Ovechkin comes back, watch out. Watch out.
can I remind everyone of the Jacob Chychrun saga coming to and leaving Ottawa?
Sure, please.
Bro. From HockeyDB, Jacob Chychrun traded from the Arizona Coyotes to the Ottawa Senators for a conditional first-round pick in 2023, a conditional second-round pick in 2024, and a second-round pick in 2026. Traded out of Ottawa to the Washington Capitals for Nick Jensen and a third-round pick in 2026.
Wow.
Dude.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Dude.
That is every bit as bad as the DeBrincat shit.
Yeah.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
Damn.
Bad asset
Good for
management
him.
there. I'm going to take us to the Atlantic Division. For those who don't know off by heart, the Maple Leafs, the Panthers, the Bruins, the Lightning, the Senators, the Red Wings, the Sabres, and the Canadiens. I'm going to start this one off. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with the hometown favorite Toronto Maple Leafs. And the reason I'm going to go with the Toronto Maple Leafs is this. They figured out how to win at home. As of this recording, they're 14-4-0. Watch, they're going to lose their next 3 games. But what's amazing about the Toronto Maple Leafs this year is they have transformed their style of play, much to the consternation of people that loved the way they played before. I got tired of it. I see a Toronto Maple Leafs team this year that gets a lead and keeps it. Mm-hmm. And I remember generally speaking, yeah. I mean, every team gives up a lead, but with the Leafs in previous years, it was like they're going to get a 3-goal lead and they will give it up. It better not happen before the start of the third period, or they're going to lose it.
Through the first 30-ish games, mm-hmm. I think they've had a lead and choked on it in a loss once.
Yeah,
they've had a few bend but don't break games. They've held on.
They're tied for third last in the division in goals for this season.
Hilarious,
which is hilarious when you consider. And I think with guys getting healthy, McMahon healthy, Domi healthy, Matthews healthy, Pacioretty healthy, that is going to change. And the one thing that will not change is their strength on defense and their goaltending. And I know Anthony Stolarz is out for at least another month with the
4 to 6 weeks
with a pebble on the knee.
Announced today.
But I'm talking about this as if it was a December.
I know.
You know what I said?
I'm giving context.
You hear what I
You didn't have to chime in.
Yeah.
Well, I did.
Let him go.
No, I'm kidding. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs are freaking due. They've only won 6 in their entire history, and the last one was that stupid Canadian division during COVID. So Toronto Maple Leafs division winner. Steve Dangle, you're next.
This team won the Stanley Cup last year, and they like to let you know it. They have not been great all the time. They've had some points this season where they've been downright mediocre to bad.
Yep.
But every time they come face to face with a divisional rival who is challenging for their crown, they remind them where they belong.
Right.
And that's the Florida Panthers. They're hot right now. The Leafs have been so much better than I think most people thought, and they're playing unbelievable, and they're winning games that they deserve to win, and they're winning games that they don't deserve to win, and that's all led to they're tied with Florida. Florida's going to win this division, folks.
Okay. All right. I like that. Yeah. Jesse Blake.
I also have the Florida Panthers, and it's not that I don't believe in the Toronto Maple Leafs and that they've played a great style of hockey this year, and I love what Craig Berube's done, creating this team that loves low event hockey, and they can just slog out games. They don't need a bunch of goals, but they can win 2-1 hockey games. It's beautiful stuff, but I think there always comes a time in the Leafs regular seasons where they drop a couple where they shouldn't, and it's proven consistent year in and year out. And I don't believe the Florida Panthers have that in them. I feel like
the
Florida Panthers
all win, aren't they?
Are just more consistent of a hockey team. The starting Dennis Hildeby scares me. It's not a great thing that they got to do this for a month with Woll and Hildeby. Like that's not a recipe for success from what we've seen from Hildeby so far this season. So I think they drop a couple games there because the goaltending is not going to be as good as it was through the fall, through the winter. So I think Florida is just a more consistent and overall better built team for this regular season stretch. So I'm going to go with Florida eking out the Atlantic.
Do we see Matt Murray back up?
Matt Murray can't play hockey.
Okay.
He's injured right now.
All right.
So if he gets healthy, there's a job waiting for him. Can Matt Murray stay healthy for a day?
Do we see the best goaltender in the AHL, Artur Akhtamov, come up?
No, they called up Hildeby. He was okay after starting off
Terribly.
Yeah. I could easily see the Leafs claiming the first goalie put on waivers.
Really?
Yep. Why not? Why not? If Murray's hurt and you have two kids who you're not too sure about,
Claim a goalie. That's a good idea.
claim a goalie.
I would love for Matt Murray to be healthy, like for everything he's been through.
Yes.
Everything has been injury troubles and him not being able to play. But once again, he's injured and they don't have a timeline on when he's going to return as of when we're recording this. So we'll see.
As of when we're recording, again, 4 to 6 weeks, that's 14 to 19 games.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. So, okay, how many of those games do you expect? Like, literally, you're looking for someone to pick up half a dozen games,
Yeah.
right? Maybe more?
You just need somebody to go basically 500 in those games.
8-ish? Yeah.
8.
Yeah.
If someone is on waiver, like, I literally don't care what their name is. If they're a living, breathing human being who's played more than 20 NHL games, claim them.
We shouldn't spend too much time on this because none of this can matter.
Yep.
You're right. No need to go into that.
I like it, though. I'm excited about that idea. I like that idea.
Yeah, in the future. In
all
the
right.
past.
Bold prediction. Bold prediction for the trade deadline, gentlemen.
I can go first.
Do it.
Go.
I think at this 2025 NHL trade deadline, the Pittsburgh Penguins will buy. I think we see them win a couple games here through the later part of December, early January. Kyle Dubas looks at the roster. He says, I got Sidney Crosby. I've got Evgeny Malkin.
I got to do this.
They're playing decent. Oh, is that Michael Bunting playing well? What's going on here? Maybe I don't necessarily sell the futures, but I swap pieces in this lineup for guys who are good right now. So I could see him totally getting to the trade deadline, looking at the situation, maybe picking up a couple picks for expiring or whatever, but also flipping some expiring assets for players he thinks are going to be good this year and next year to try and keep this window open for Crosby.
Ooh,
That's my
I like that
That's
one.
my trade deadline.
That was well thought out. All right, golf claps. Golf claps.
Did you guys
Steven Dangle.
Did you guys not think out your?
No,
I just thought I hadn't thought of that perspective. I think it's good.
Okay,
No, it doesn't mean we didn't think of ours, Jesse. It means that we're giving you a compliment. God damn it!
Oh, you thought I better
He
think.
He can't take a
I
freaking
better
compliment.
think.
He can't take
I better
one. He
think
can't.
of mine.
Compliment Jesse when you see him. He's gonna die.
Adam,
die of embarrassment.
I just hope you did your homework.
Go ahead, Steve.
Jesse said his hot take is
Bold prediction.
His bold prediction, sorry. I'm thinking of another episode that I'm not prepared for. His bold prediction is that the Pittsburgh Penguins will be buyers.
Mm-hmm.
You stole the words right out of my mouth. Except I'm going with another P team. The Predators are going to be buyers at the trade deadline. And there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, they are built to be buyers.
Mm-hmm.
They bought this offseason. They have, 3 first-round picks. They are set up to be buyers. They put themselves in a position to be buyers this season. Number two, and maybe a more important reason than that, they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So either they buy because they've all of a sudden gone, skipped a U2 concert and gotten hot, and they're actually doing well and they think they can do it. Or they buy to try to be like what Doug Armstrong did a few years ago, where he was trying to get guys like Timo Meier.
Yep.
Even though the Blues weren't going to make the playoffs, they're trying to do stuff to set them up for the future. The Preds may have a fire sale of sorts, but I think they're going to buy more than
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like that, Steve. I like that a lot. Okay. Mine is a two-parter that will come out a little bit later in the show, but this is the first part. The Rangers will be sellers at the trade deadline. And there's more to this, but the Rangers will be sellers. And the reason the Rangers are going to be sellers is they sort of have to be. If Chris Drury is going to stay there, these guys don't like him. And they're going to have to move some guys out and at least bring in some guys who are somewhat neutral towards Chris Drury. Otherwise, you're going to have a full-blown mid-off between general managers and players that don't want to play for him. So I think the Rangers will sell, but there's a second part of this coming on. Now, that brings me to the next thing, which is who that is currently in the playoff picture will miss, who that is currently not will actually get in. And I am telling you for my second half of this is why I structured it this way, that the Rangers, who will be sellers, are going to make the playoffs this year. They're going to make it.
Oh, wow.
They're currently out, but they're going to sell and make the playoffs this year. And they're going to get some good stuff back too.
Wow.
So which one are you doing? Sorry.
He skipped to the...
I skipped it. Don't worry.
He wants to do the who makes the playoffs, who's currently
and then who doesn't.
not in a playoff spot.
Yeah, and I will say that the Senators will miss. I'm still not... I'm happy for them. They're in the second wild card right now. This isn't a hate on for the Senators. I'm still not convinced.
So you're hitting us with both.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead
Do
and
both.
do both.
I would like you to do both.
I actually had the same answers as Adam.
Oh, wow.
I thought the Senators are the easiest free square on who's in a playoff spot and who won't make it. I don't trust that the Senators are good. I don't believe that the goaltending they get is going to hold up, because every time they have a goaltender who's good and he goes to Ottawa, it's the defense in front of him that falters. I don't believe this team structure is good enough to uphold an 82-game schedule and keep this team in a playoff spot. So I think the Senators, who are currently in a playoff spot, are going to fall off. And I think that Rangers, despite everything that's going on in Manhattan and all of the controversy around their front office and on the ice and the coaching staff, that they'll put it together and get into a playoff spot. There's too many good players in that locker room for them not to make the playoffs. So Rangers in, Sens out.
I have flip-flopped several times, and I had that exact thing, and I deleted both teams.
Wow.
Let this be a little time capsule. This could be really funny by the time people listen to it. Last 5 games for Linus Ullmark. 5-0-0, 5 goals against, 0.99 goals against average, 9.66 save percentage,
It's incredible.
1 shutout.
Those are amazing.
There's a reason I said what I said.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe the goaltending they're getting right now is going to stay.
Oh, yeah. So let me hit you with this. Non-playoff team that makes it, give me the Philadelphia Flyers.
Nice.
They started really poor. Michkov wasn't performing.
Yep.
Fedotov was awful.
Yep.
Bolasov was awful. Everyone they put in net was awful. They're a very competent team. They're in the mix right now. They're in the conversation despite being really bad.
Okay.
You don't need to get yourself back into the conversation after being bad. We've seen that.
Right.
There's lots of teams around the league were bad, and they decided, you know what? Let's stay here. Let's just keep being
Why
this.
don't we simply be bad?
Yeah. So let's go with the Flyers.
Wow.
This is the reason I wanted to go last. Current playoff team that misses. This team has a minus 19 goal differential.
I like that you're backing this up with stats and not just gut feel like I did.
This team is a minus 19 goal differential. This team has fired their coach. This team's best players are getting old, and a lot of them have retired. I'll never learn. I will never
You're not gonna
ever
say it.
learn. And there's a bunch of teams nipping at their heels, too.
Oh, you're not going to say it.
The Boston
No way. No way.
Boston Bruins. Tampa is challenging for that third spot, and after that, it's up to the wild card, and there are too many Eastern teams in the mix.
And the Metro too is I think stronger than the Atlantic.
The
overall.
Metro team is, or the Metro is strong. The Sens are on the day we're recording this in a playoff spot with their goalie playing immaculately. The Flyers are tied with the Sens. The Rangers, who couldn't be playing worse, are still just one win out from being right back in the playoffs. Pens are there on their way up. The Islanders are there. There isn't really a team out of the mix, truly out of the mix in the East right now. Boston.
Wow.
I'll never learn.
Wow.
I'll never, ever learn.
Now, the next question, and this is a big one. Do the Leafs make it out of the first round? Perpetual question in Toronto, a question we ask every day that we wake up every year. Who wants to take this one to start?
I'll do it. I have to look at what the matchup's going to be
Yes.
based on what I just said,
Yes.
right?
So it's not going to be Boston, that's for sure.
It's not going to be Boston. If it is, they're in trouble.
You said Tampa.
I think it's going to be Tampa. I think it's the 2-3. Leafs ideally have home ice advantage there. So it would be a repeat of, I believe the Leafs had home ice in 2022 when they lost.
Yep.
And in 2023 when they won. Mm-hmm. I think this Leafs group is a better version of the one that beat Tampa in 2023. I think they're more set up to, even through the regular season, they've been torturing this team. So I'm going to say yes, they do. They make it out of round one.
I will say the Leafs also, I agree. I think they're going to make it out of round one, and they're going to be playing the Boston Bruins. And I think the Leafs are going to win the division. As I said, they're going to win the division. Boston will be in the wild card because I look at Tampa's goal differential right now, and it's way better.
It's not fair.
Way better than Boston. So I think they get some more wins in their future.
Plus 30.
I think the Boston Bruins, for the Leafs to do it and really do it, they have to beat the Bruins. They have to beat the Bruins.
It'd be better.
It has to happen at some point. And even though the Bruins might be a little bit older, might be a little bit, some of their better players have retired, whatever, or they've traded one of their great goaltenders to a divisional rival and really didn't get that much in return. The Boston Bruins are a weapon in the playoffs. You cannot deny it. All they got to do is get in. And if they're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, man, it's going to be a great series, but I think the Leafs can take them. They could have taken them at any point. They just didn't. And I think this is, of the years to take them, this is the year.
The most satisfying Stanley Cup win in recent memory is still the 2018 Capitals.
Yeah, I guess they beat them.
Because they had to beat the Penguins.
Oh, Penguins. Sorry. I like the shot of the St. Louis one because Brad Marchand was crying.
Oh, I like that. I enjoy it. Well, if anyone's team was historically, if anyone had a boogeyman historically, I guess that would be St. Louis with Boston.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what? Beat Boston.
Hey,
it's a lot of fun.
Jesse Blake.
I imagine.
Yeah, why not try something for the fifth time? I think the Toronto Maple Leafs go up against the Boston Bruins once again, and they finally do it. This not the first time, not the second, not the third,
Not one, not two,
the four,
not three.
but maybe the fifth time they finally do it. So I think the Leafs make it out of the first round. Like I said, they're playing playoff hockey this year. I think that's something we can't say about Leafs teams of the past, where they're run and gun. They're getting a bunch of goals and they're not getting a bunch of stops. I think by the time the playoffs roll around, Stollers and Wall are full health, and this team can complement their great goaltending and great defense with a little bit of scoring. They can take this Boston team and win a round. I think the Leafs win at least 4 games this playoffs.
I like that. Yes, Jesse Blake.
Yeah.
That's 3 that believe it. We believe. Okay.
We will never learn.
Four Nations finals. Who wants to take it? Who's playing and who wins?
I don't think we need to overthink this. Canada versus U.S. And Canada wins because we've been dumping on them for months, and we've been talking about the goaltending, and they're going to get immaculate goaltending out of whoever plays because it's hockey, and hockey's dumb. And I, again, have shown a complete unwillingness to learn.
You know what, Steve? I love your picks. They're not similar to mine, but I will say that I hope what you say happens.
Go ahead, Adam.
You want me to? Okay,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be USA-Sweden. I think Sweden has thrown away a lot of opportunities in international play lately that they'd like to have back. I think the Team USA is absolutely stacked, and I think Hockey Canada needs to learn a lesson from some of the picks that they've made. I just think that they've it feels a little bit like Torino again. And that's to me right now. And listen, I'll be rooting for them the whole damn way. But I think the U.S. and Sweden made much better picks given the talent pools available. I think Sweden's got something to prove, and Team USA will win.
I got Sweden-Canada.
Ooh.
Wow.
As the final matchup. I think defense wins championships. And I look at what Sweden's got on the back end, and it's Rasmus Andersson, Jonas Brodin, Rasmus Dahlin, Matthias Ekholm, Gustav Forsling, Victor Hedman, Erik Karlsson, and then in goal, you got Philip Gustafsson.
Wow.
I love what Sweden's got on the table. I think Canada makes it to the finals, but they fall short against Sweden, who picks up the victory.
Oh my God, that'll be good. That'll be good.
I will say this, best outcome story-wise, Canada gets absolutely smacked at this tournament, wins the Olympics.
Yep.
At the end of the day, that's the only one that matters. And we will be coping hard as Canadians if they do lose this tournament.
Yes.
Okay. Second last question. Super Bowl winner, and what will the matchup be? I'm going to ask Steve first because he might be taking Jesse and I's answers. So I'll go Steve and then me and then Jesse because we don't want to give Steve any help.
No.
The team that helped me the most in fantasy this year, even though they let me down in the playoffs, you friggin' bums, the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow.
Are going to be taking on a team that, according to the standings, is doing very well, the Detroit Lions.
Good pick.
And I think the Ravens win.
Okay. All right. I
just didn't want to pick the Chiefs.
I say a rematch of this past weekend's game based on this recording, but Detroit and Buffalo makes too much sense. It'd be way too much fun. It's two Rust Belt cities that have had terrible recent histories, and all of a sudden we'll be back. Like, it's cool when you get an LA New York or an LA Miami or something like, or Vegas this or whatever. How about two blue collar teams who, by the way, their main color is blue, who work hard, come from hard-working cities, and have had shitty franchises forever.
They always pull up their bootstraps.
As a fan of a blue team who's had a shitty recent history, I hope for you, one of you two wins, and I'm going to give it to the Detroit Lions.
I like people who drive their trucks to the football.
Yeah.
They play backyard pigskin on Thanksgiving.
Right, and buy dirt.
I got the Philadelphia Eagles making the Super Bowl. The Detroit Lions.
Sorry, what was your answer?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. And
The Detroit Lions are a fantastic team, but they have a little bit too many injuries right now.
yes, that's true.
They just lost one half of their amazing starting running back duo. They have I think they have like 8 starting defensive players who are now on the injuries list. I think they've just a shell of themselves who they were in the mid part of the season, and they don't have enough to muster up a Super Bowl run. So the Eagles come out of the NFC because they are peaking at the right time despite all this infighting on the team. They just keep winning, and their win against the Pittsburgh Steelers this past weekend when we're recording is very impressive.
Yes.
Adam, I don't know if you saw some of that game.
I did, and I
the Steelers all season long have been able to get these wins that they don't deserve, and the Eagles just went in there and took care of business. It was good stuff from them. So Eagles and Super Bowl. And then the other side, my favorite player to watch in pro sports right now, he's got to make the Super Bowl, Josh Allen.
He's amazing.
He's the most electric player in any sport doing it currently, because the way he plays is like backyard football. He's doing stuff where it's like, oh, that guy's just better than everybody else on the field, and he's just playing with his food. So I'd love to see Josh Allen in the Super Bowl, so I'm rooting for the Bills-Eagles matchup.
Nobody said the Chiefs. Nobody said the Chiefs.
Because we don't want.
I think we've seen that show.
Yeah, I think we have to.
We don't want them.
No repeats.
Jesse, do you have a list for us?
I do.
Jesse's got a list of where will they sign, listing upcoming UFAs, and Steve and I have to predict where they will sign, where he sign, who he play for next year.
Will he play for?
Give me a moment, and I'll pull this up for all of you.
Was the Detroit Lions coach the dude who randomly evoked Al Qaeda?
No, that's
the Bills.
That was Bills.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yes.
Oh.
They were prepared. Say what you want. They were prepared.
Yeah, that was.
They sure were.
I don't like Sean McDermott and his coaching style, and I think he's an awful decision maker. But I think Josh Allen can overcome an awful head coach.
You do not, as it turns out. Gotta hand it to him.
All right, so we're playing a game to end this episode. We are calling it Where Will They Sign? I have a list of the upcoming 2025 unrestricted free agents. Fellas, you have to be off your phones and computers.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
done?
I'm ready.
Are you done?
Unrestricted free agent.
All right. I have a list of the upcoming unrestricted free agents for the 2025 offseason. I'm going to give you a name, and you must predict where they sign and for how much come July 1st.
What he signed for?
At the very top, there's no way we couldn't start with this name. He's from Ontario.
Yeah.
Local boy. Played in the GTA all his life. He played a little in London. Then he came back to the GTA as a pro.
All right, John Tavares. Got it. So,
Mitchell Marner. Where will he sign?
Where he signed for?
Toronto,
Oh, okay.
I just have to get a calculator out.
13.1.
13 for how many years?
8. Because
Damn.
it's a hair under Matthews. 13.1.
Reasons?
Was that?
Is that's the reasons?
Yeah.
Do you have any other reasons?
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Do you think it's the right decision by the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Oh God.
There's no way.
It'll depend on the playoffs.
Okay.
It depends on the playoff. Like, okay, I will say my opinion is shifting a bit for 2 reasons. One, this is the best I think he's ever played. The other is, like, I was sort of on board with his first contract, like the one that led to all this, because I'm like, yeah, well, the cap's going to go up, and then it didn't. Now it is. Like, all this recent.
That's not even. It's not a conversation.
Yeah,
it's going up. It's already set in stone to go up by $10 million in the next couple of years.
Unless a once in a century event happens
Twice.
it'll be going up, and like, okay, we're gonna get rid of this guy even though the cap's going up, because why? It'll be 13.1 times 8.
Adam.
I'm going to say he will be the first Leaf to sign a $100 million contract on the dot, 12.5 over 8 years.
McDavid.
And I say that because the Leafs will say McDavid, and I know he'll say but Matthews, and they'll be like, yep, and he's a center. And the difference really between him and Matthews will be $750,000 a year, which is nothing for these guys.
I don't think so.
Well,
$750,000 is nothing for the dude who got mad about Schedule B bonuses.
Because he's gonna make. This is what's gonna happen. He's gonna sign for a reasonable amount of money.
I'm not wrong.
A reasonable amount of money.
They've been nothing but predictable.
Am I gonna finish this or
No.
I'm gonna sign for? He's gonna sign for a more reasonable amount of money, which is still high.
That's a great point.
and he is going to fans are going to like it, and he's going to be able to do more endorsements, and he'll be able to out-endorse Matthews.
Endorsements
No,
have
never.
never, ever, 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 ever mattered in a contract negotiation with the Leafs.
I don't remember talking this much over your...
Mitch is never going to have.
Oh, really?
None
Play
of
the
what's-
tape.
No. Mitch is never going to have the RBC commercials that Austin has.
That's right.
Those are so
He's got
good.
to wear a yellow turtleneck.
Those are so good.
I think Mitch is...
Might have helped
I think
with
he's
his
signing it for 12 and a half.
His reputation.
If he signs for 12 and a half or 12.75, I think that this guy, people are going to go, wow, okay, that's not the maximum he would have signed for. And we really appreciate that. And by the way, he's played his balls off this year. Yeah. And hopefully in the playoffs, the results actually happen for him. Because as much as we have been we're hard on anybody that doesn't perform in the playoffs. It just happens that he, for a couple of series, was a guy that didn't perform to what they needed him to. And you can go back and you can look at, total points, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but what games did he get the points in? And that's the key. The Tampa series specifically, I'm talking about.
It's unfathomable you have to explain that every year.
It's not, though, because people just, they have their hockey DB open, whatever. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Hey, Darren, here's a New Year's resolution. Shut your mouth.
And they have. And that tells me it gets done in Toronto, 8 years, 12 and a half. I think he's going to see a renaissance in popularity. Not that Mitch Marner's not the most popular. If he could be, he's one or two. But I think Mitch, before that contract was signed, was hands down the most popular Leaf. And I think that his relationship with the media and the fans will normalize, and it will be less contentious. And this is a guy, ultimately, Leaf fans, that wants to be here.
He's a smart guy.
He wants to play in the not real NHL. I think that matters, man.
He's a smart guy. He's been saying less. His agent has said nearly nothing.
Nothing.
And I think that's by design. Learn from your mistakes.
John Tavares.
Yeah.
Toronto.
Steve. For how much? How many years?
6.5 times
Oh,
5.
that's a little heavy.
I'm going 5.5 times 4.
I like that.
I like Adams better.
Yeah.
But that's what you think. You think it's 6?
I mean, listen, if he signs for less than that, it's out of the kindness of his heart because he's been great.
Yeah. And listen, he probably deserves what you're talking about is the Giroux contract. What he has in what I would say to him is listen, John, we want to get you that cup. Mitch was a little flexible. Can you be a little flexible? And we expect some regression in your play over the course of this deal. And man, I'll give you this. What if it's 5 years? 5.5 times 5. People will be like, I know people will freak out, but I will not care
about the amount of years.
I don't care about 2030 right now. I don't
care.
I don't care. Yeah. Do not care. Don't care.
Win a Stanley Cup.
John Tavares is going to stay in Toronto. It's going to be 4 or 5 years. It's going to be $5 to $5.5 million.
Mikko Rantanen. Let's speed through these.
Oh, that's a good one. 14 mil.
Oh,
shit.
7 years. New York Rangers.
Whoa.
jeez.
They're going to make some trades, man.
Jeez.
Holy hot shit.
And I have a second team lined up if it's not the Rangers.
Who is it?
Minnesota Wild.
Oh, wow.
Who have an absolute boatload of cash ready to sign. They got like $30 million to spend this offseason.
Avalanche fans might like Islanders burn his jersey.
You think so?
Just because it's Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly.
He did win a cup, so I guess that changes.
He's out to get his money.
Yeah,
14
once
mil.
you win a cup, you're free to do whatever you
14
want.
schmil.
I think he stays in Colorado. 13.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. And they got to get that Gabe Landeskog thing sorted out. Like they can't.
I think they will.
They cannot let this go on any longer. It's really affecting the team now.
You can't. I think they get an answer from Gabe before they have an answer with Mikko.
Adams, I think, onto something with the Parise and Suter deals coming off the books for Minnesota. That is literally $14 million they no longer have to pay to guys who don't play there.
Yep.
It's going to be a big offseason for Minnesota.
And you got to show Kaprizov that you're serious, and also maybe have a replacement for him if he decides to sign somewhere else.
also, a lot of that money is going to him.
Yep.
So next up, Nick Ehlers.
Ooh, I like Nick Ehlers a lot, and I don't think he's staying in Winnipeg.
28 years old, makes $6 million on the cap right now. UFA at the end of the year has
I
got
got to look at his points here.
25 points in 24 games, 9 goals, 16 assists right now. Where does Nikolai Ehlers sign next season? Personally, I think he stays in Winnipeg.
7 times 7?
Ooh, I like that. It's a good number.
That's only
Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow. That's only $1 million raise over what he's currently making in his last deal. His last deal was 7 by 6.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shorter term deal where he gets a better opportunity because like Bones didn't really like him. And Arneal's given him a little bit more of a chance. But again, his ice time over the last 3 years has fallen from 1804 to now it's 1539, 1552, and this year it's 1533. He wants a place where he's going to get an opportunity to sign a mega deal, which is why I'm looking at San Jose.
I could see that. I
Or
could see that.
Anaheim, where it's a short,
I don't see that as much.
higher end deal.
Yeah.
Where so the reason I say Anaheim is they need some more goals, and they've got this young core, and I think Ehlers can score you 25, 30, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Ish. I like that, and I think specifically with San Jose, like Toffoli's off the books if they don't re-sign him, and
Absurdly consistent goal scorer, just looking at his numbers.
yeah, and I think like, hey, you can play next to Celebrini. Hey, you can play next to Leo Carlson. That's a pretty yeah.
I said
I don't think he's ever reached his full potential with the Jets. I think this guy's a better player.
I said Pittsburgh because he is a smaller, feisty winger with solid underlying numbers who everyone says is underappreciated. That is the most Kyle Dubas player I've ever heard.
That's so true.
Yes.
Next
so
up,
true.
he's got 19
Oh, and
points.
terrible playoff numbers.
That's very funny.
That's funny.
He's got 19 points in 23 games, 8 goals, 11 assists. He's 27 years old, making $6.65 million. His last contract was a 3-year deal. Brock Besser of the Vancouver Canucks is a UFA this upcoming offseason. Where does he play next year? And for how much and for how long?
I need to check something because it affects my answer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Brock Besser of the Minnesota Wild.
Whoa.
Oh!
Is that because
He's going home,
He's from there.
Burnsville, Minnesota.
Oh, good call.
Dad.
I thought about the Rangers.
Good call.
Because Adam's got me all titillated about the Rangers, but bring the hometown boy home.
I agree with Steve. I'm not even going to add to that. That's a great one.
Jacob Chikrin, in his just stellar season, he's got 9 goals, 12 assists, 21 points in 25 games, currently making $4.6 million. He's coming to the end of a 6-year deal with the Capitals.
How old is he?
26 years old.
Wow.
I can't believe
only
he's
26.
It feels like he's been in our lives since 1952.
Yeah.
Jacob Chikrin, where does he play next?
And he shoots right?
No.
Left.
Shoots
He
left.
can play, I believe he plays both
But
sides,
he's a left shooting defenseman.
Here's this is an easy one for me. He's signing for 8+, and it's going to be 8 years or 7 years, and it's going to be the New York Rangers. Lindgren's gone. They're going to need some guys on the left side. They do have some young guys going up. I don't know that K'Andre Miller has played very well this year enough to talk about a gigantic extension. I think they'll probably go bridge deal, and it'll actually probably be a nice little discount because he hasn't played great. He's been really soft. I think they need help up the left side. Chikrin makes so much sense on Broadway. It's just a question of, can you eat raw liver in New York State?
If I can insert my opinion into this one, I think the Washington Capitals look at how important this man is to their roster
Yeah.
and they get a deal done before he ever reaches free.
I hope that's the case.
That's
because
my pick here.
what a fit. And sometimes you don't fuck with happy, man.
Exactly. I think he's going to recognize, like, I'm having such a good season right now and I'm going to be my best here.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
But
I'm really
Steve's
struggling.
going.
I'm really struggling.
Steven's going with one of the other 31 teams.
No, you're probably right. I'm going to say, like, this dude, I think he makes like 9.
Yeah.
He's going to make a
I can
lot of
see that.
money.
Oh, yeah,
With
absolutely.
the cap going the way it is for a defenseman who's this important?
He could make now. There's it completely depends on how he looks at it. If he looks at it, don't mess with Happy. He'll sign for somewhere between 7.5 and 9 in Washington. Or I can pin 2 divisional rivals with a lot of money against each other, and he could play the Caps off the Rangers. And I think the Rangers,
makes it to the
205 pounds,
offseason.
6'2", and he scores a shitload of goals. And think of how much better he'll make Adam Fox.
Well, and so the question too becomes, Adam Fox apparently is available for a gigantic amount, but he's available. He's not untouchable. You know,
Sure, I'm sure McDavid is too.
well, no, I don't think he is though. You know what I mean?
Like
the Rangers are like, yeah, you could call us about Adam Fox at this point.
well, then they're stupid.
Yes. But man, Chikrin Fox would be insane.
We got a couple more we can do.
Caps for Chikrin.
13 goals in 31 games, 27 points in 31 games. Darren Ferris client, 28 years old, Sam Bennett.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to be the first to say it. 7x7 Toronto Maple Leafs. He wants to play in Toronto. That I know. I know for fact. At some point in his career, he wants to be a Leaf.
What
I
about
do
John
know that.
Tavares? Winger?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it depends on what they do with the third line center situation. But I think Sam Bennett will be a Leaf at one point. And I think this is a perfect opportunity to be a Leaf at the point that matters the most. Not when you're at Joe Thornton level of your career or Patrick Marleau level of your career or Wayne Simmons or any of the other guys that came back. You get to play a consequential role and you get to be behind Matthews, and then you got Tavares also backing you up as well. So one of those guys is going to be the third line guy, and I think he's exactly what Tree wants as a centerman. Exactly.
I agree with that.
So I think Sam Bennett,
think
$50 million here.
If you're bringing Sam Bennett to the Leafs, John Tavares doesn't have a role.
No, you have both. You have both.
That's
He's your
so
third line
much
center.
money.
That's fine.
That's
Center.
There's a
If
cap.
you're gonna spend money, that's where you do it.
Sure, definitely. But there's a cap.
We keep trying to send one of these guys to the Rangers. There it is.
That's a good one.
8.
8.
It's Ferris. What does he want? Dollars, money, dinero. That is what he wants. He needs it because he takes a lower rate than all other agents. And he's got a shitload of deals that age poorly because he's just like, yeah, go out and get that money, son. So he's going to go to the highest bidder, and that bidder will be the New York Rangers, who need that kind of player bad.
Yeah, they do.
Brad Marchand?
I mean, who doesn't need that kind of player?
Brad Marchand's staying in Boston.
Yes.
Steve? Yeah. Agreed? Yeah.
And I think for roughly the amount he makes now, 6.5 or whatever it is.
Yeah, 6.125.
I think he's going to stay.
He's coming to the end of an 8-year deal.
And
so.
he's the captain, and he's a legend, and they're going to raise his number to the rafters one day. I think it would be a crime if Brad Marchand were to sign somewhere else. If Boston lets him sign somewhere else.
Aaron Ekblad?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the Panthers are at the point where they need to keep him because you've lost Montour. You need to keep one of those guys. I think, but I think Ekblad is like the other guys and takes less and stays.
See, taking less for him would, I think, be a raise.
Or it would still be a slight raise. Yeah,
He makes what, 7.5?
Aaron Ekblad currently makes 7.5.
Well, what if he just continued to make 7.5?
I could see him signing for exact same amount or 8.
Taylor Hall?
Oh, baby.
Where does his career go next? He's been all over the NHL.
$2 million, Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, it's kind of cute.
That's a fascinating
Reunion.
Yeah, I think that that reunion is due. It seems silly that they traded him in the first place, to be honest with you.
I'm going to go, okay, how's he performing this season? I know the answer's not good.
And it's on the Blackhawks, you know.
It is on the Blackhawks.
It's 7 goals, 7 assists, 30 games.
It's okay.
Who is the I can fix him team?
I think he's done that. He's gone through Boston, Chicago, Buffalo.
Chicago can't fix nothing.
Buffalo
Can't fix shit.
played well in Boston.
Played well in Boston. Isn't that funny? Not that well, but well. Vancouver.
Oh, how much? I think it's a 1-year deal in Edmonton, by the way.
$3 million for 1 year in Vancouver to fix his shit.
Wow.
And then you figure it out from there.
I like that. Damn, Steve Dangle.
I'll hit the button because we are
We're
very
way
over time.
We are way over time.
We'll see you again in 2025.
Yes, our next episode is New Year's Day.
Whoa.
Oh, the future. Look at that.
All right.
Advil. Bananas and water.
Oh, hungover.
Oh, for hangovers.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.